All right, looks like we're going here, Mario. So really, I'm going to be just talking a little bit about how amazing Mario is throughout this entire conversation. Mario joins the Agency Tycoons Accelerator not too long ago, and he's been going through it, crushing it. So really, the purpose of this video is going to be just highlighting what it looks like when someone comes in, takes action, and actually like builds a business following the Agency Tycoons model. So maybe Mario, if you want, just like kick this thing off, bro. Like give us a little bit of a background on yourself and maybe a little bit about like where you were at before starting the program.
Yeah, definitely. So, I actually invested in another course. It's like everybody's nightmare to like invest in a course that really is just made by a guy who was like, "Hey, I can make some quick money off of this." So that's the course I invested in. I was actually in California at the time, living in like Torrance,
Okay.
so South LA. I was working a really great job as like an adventure coach. It was part time, so I was like, I need to make some money. I was there like living close to like my girlfriend's family. So I was like, it's good. I want to like show them I could work.
Yeah.
So I invested in that course. It was not great at all. And then like I was putting in so much work, and then just I feel like the system just wasn't working. The model of like the business was broken. And then I came across your ad. I think in December I was looking at it like December, so like almost a year ago. And then I opted in, just like checked out the video, and then I just kind of like fell off the radar. And then I got like emails from you like, "Hey, are you sure you don't want to book? Hey, these are the results we're getting." And then I think in January I finally hit like, "Yeah, sure, I'll book a calendar. I'll book something with
Sucked
Michael."
you back in.
Yeah, exactly. And then I actually forgot about it. But like I always answer my phone typically. And then like you called me and you're like, "Hey, this is Michael Hummel." I was like, "Oh, hey." And yeah, that's like when you caught me. Like when I had the goal of like hitting 10K a month, in January for like the whole year, right? Like 10K, 10K, 10K. And then yeah, you caught me at the right time, and I was like, let's see,
And
what
that
we
was
can.
the goal with the old course where you were like,
Yeah, the old course.
okay, cool. So obviously you joined. What was kind of like the process like for you in the beginning when you were first starting out? You didn't have any business experience. You were in college at that time still, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So just kind of like talk through a little bit about like what it was like to just like start your first company. Like what did that feel like for you? How were you able to take action like you were, when it was like your first time going into it?
Yeah, definitely. So, like I mentioned, I had the goal of hitting like 10K every month, and like the cool thing about the course, was that it really helped me like, because like you could say you own a business, but like if nobody knows you exist, like do you really have a business? And like before the course, I felt like nobody knew I existed, and I'm talking about like people I wanted to work with, right? Like potential clients. So it was crazy because like the course, like right off the bat, really did help me just talk to actual business owners, and I was like, okay, cool. So it was just really, it was scary because I wasn't used to it, right? Because like the course before, it was just like I never talked to anybody. It was all conceptual.
Yeah.
So like getting like actually starting my own business, it felt, I think like the scariest part was just talking to strangers, to be honest, because like everything else like was pretty set out for me. Um, to the point where like it's really up to me like to talk to these people like
Yeah.
when they reach back out to me, or like when they want to book an appointment with me.
You were
It
kind of
was
like,
scary.
I actually have to talk to people now. Like I can't
Yeah,
just
yeah,
say I have a
exactly. I was
business.
like,
It's time for me to actually like do something. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, I don't know what to do at this point.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, cool. And like, when do you feel like things kind of like started picking up for you? Like when was it kind of like that turning point to where you're like, I'm figuring this out. Like things are getting a lot more fun.
Yeah, definitely. So the pandemic hit, right? I was in school. And then like the university was like, hey, you guys can go home if you want. Um, because school's gonna be online. And I was like, this is like an answer to like a prayer. Because I was like, I don't know, like I really want to focus on my business, just kind of like go all in. And then we got that email, and I was like, I'm gonna go home. So went home to Texas from Idaho, and then like that's when I like went all in to like just really like digging into the course. And then like actually I was still like hung up on the first course for some reason that I invested in. I was like, I need to make it work for some reason. Um, so I kind of blended both, and it just like bit me in the butt because like a bunch of clients that like I did end up like partnering up with, getting to a contract with, like demanded refunds because just the way the old course was teaching things, I was like, this is not going to work out. It was adding a lot more stress to like, just like the life of an entrepreneur, right? At that point. And then when like my bank account was like in negative thousands, I was like, I need
No.
to like commit to Michael's course, right? Because like the good parts of like the business I was running at that point, I was like, they're coming from what Michael is teaching. So literally in July was when I was like, I'm gonna like forget that old course, just go all in into what Michael is teaching, and then that's when I really started seeing results in like a really stress-free way,
Super
which was
powerful.
great. Which was great. It was amazing.
That
And
was,
then
I think 2.0 came out as well, right? That was kind of like when,
that's exactly when I like was like, you know what? Yeah, let's just go in with 2.0.
cool. I'm sorry, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Um, I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no worries. No,
You can
that's
cut that part out,
good
right?
transition. Yeah. No, so like the cool thing, everyone, like also like this is like one of the biggest key things to understand. Like I started a brand new agency from scratch, like right when the pandemic hit, and then recreated the entire training basically based on what was working like in that current time, and still have the agency to this date that I started back in April 2020 when the pandemic was going at its worst. And that's what we're all learning off of, and that's when Mario was able to really take advantage of it and was able to like kind of start going crazy, which I'm not going to reveal it yet. I'm going to let Mario tell you for himself about how awesome he is. um Dude, like tell me a little bit about getting like the first couple of sales in the door. How did it feel? You said you were negative thousands of dollars. What was that like to have like literally $0 and you're going in on a business just trying to figure it all out? And then when you actually got that first sale, what was that kind of feeling like? How did you have the courage to really do that?
Yeah. So I was just committed to making it work. Like I was getting conversations. I was talking to people. And I remember like I was at home at the time, so like I was in my room like 24/7 taking calls, really busy, and then like the clients just weren't closing. So I was like it really is up to me to like really close that first deal, just really get better at sales or closing or whatever it was. Really just like my limiting beliefs were holding me back. But what happened was I didn't think about my bank account. I was just like, hey, this is gonna work. Like a lot of other people in the course are getting results. So like numbers are just numbers. It's gonna work, right? So like that just took off a big stress off of my shoulders. And then like I closed my first client. It was really cool just because I did not expect it to close at all. And then after that, like little by little, I started like signing on more people and just becoming more comfortable with whether it's myself, whether it's the sales calls, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it really did start compounding from like 5 grand a month and then just like growing from there to where it's like, I don't know, like it's fun talking to people now, right? Like get to know them, really can help them. And it's cool. It's cool. I really do like it.
So do you feel like you like just got better at sales? Like were you like how do you feel like you went from like afraid to talk on the phone to like now where you're at where you're almost finding joy out of it? Do you feel like you just really like worked internally on that? Do you feel like it was like just practicing sales calls, doing reps? Like what was it for you?
Uh-huh. I think it was just like taking action because I felt like a lot of like analysis paralysis, right? Is what I like to call it. It's like I'm sitting there, I'm like, cool, like this is what I'm gonna say if they say this, or like I just planned every possible route to like every possible objection, and then like you're just stuck in thinking mode. That when I was committed to just like taking action, I was like, I'm just gonna take action, and then like it's just a lot easier when you just take action. So I think just taking action familiarized me with what would actually happen, what I can and can't say, and just like taught me more than what I could have learned just like sitting there planning it out and like thinking about it.
It's amazing, man. So I believe you said it was like timeline wise, like right around July when you
Hmm.
started kind of like hitting it, got your first sale, cool.
Hmm.
From so like within 30 days of you really putting in effort, you got your first sale.
Hmm. Yeah.
Cool. And then from that point, when did you start growing to like 10,000 a month? Like how long did it take you to go from sale to like
Mhm.
compounding to 10K plus per month?
Yeah. So the next month actually. So my first month, like 2K
Wow.
sale, right? Like right at the end of the month. And then August, like boom, 10K. And then September, 10K, 11K. And then I just started hovering between 10 and 12K.
Okay. And you
Mhm.
hovered between there. You can reveal to everyone why you were hovering between there because this is
Yeah, yeah. So
reminding me so much of like where I was, like, but you were just way more advanced than me. We'll get into this, but like, so go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So while I was like hanging out at 10K was like school started. Like I went back to like my college town, right? And then like school started. I was like, I have like both of these routes that I'm like pursuing now. And I was like, I just changed over the summer. So when I got back to school, it was just like a big hiccup, to be honest. And then I was just like split between two lifestyles, two mindsets, just like two ways of growing. Where like in school, it's kind of like indoctrination, right? It's like, hey, we're feeding you this education through this tube. Whereas with like the tycoons and like just the business model, I was like, I'm getting real life experience. Like this is really cool. I am growing. And then like in October, I was like, I need to like decide like what do I want to do? Like why am I in school? And it was just weird because I started like taking like notes in my phone like when I felt like I was out of place. I was like, why am I even here? Like, you know what I mean? It's like this is a part like in my life where I feel out of place.
Amazing.
So just like after like taking notes on that like time and time again, I was like, why am I in school? Like, what am I scared of like leaving behind? And I was like, there's literally nothing keeping me in school. Um, but like a
Like the social
degree.
norms. That's it. It's
Huh?
literally, it's just like the social norms, right?
Yeah,
Like probably the pressure that was coming onto you because you're like,
yeah, exactly.
okay, go to school. So be in school.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
when was like the breaking point? I'm just curious. When you were just like, you were documenting it, you're like, I don't even know why I'm here. You're kind of just
Mhm.
confused. Like, what was like the tipping point for you to where you did the next thing?
Um, I think it was my roommates were like, dude, you're like balling, like you're running a business and you're going to school. And it felt so cool. I was like, yeah, I think I am. Yeah, I am balling. And they would hear like my sales calls and everything, like hear me close deals like over the phone, like, yeah, that'll be a couple thousand. And then they would just like compliment me. So at that point, I was like, I'm doing something really great,
Yeah.
right? Like, so at that point, like thanks to them, they were just like giving me that support. And I was like, yeah, like pursuing like this route would be really good. So at that point, I was like, I had to decide like what's gonna hold me back more in life. And at that point, with what I was doing with the business, I was like, school's gonna hold me back.
Yeah.
So that was like my tipping point. So I was like, time to move out, time to leave. And that's when I left, Idaho and then came to Austin, Texas, just like that.
So for those of you who didn't catch it, my boy Mario right here dropped out of college because his business was doing so well. Like so insanely cool. Like I got a message from him. He's like, I'm thinking about dropping out. Like, and that was like a long time ago. I'm like, I don't like to like persuade people and that kind of thing. It's an
Mhm.
individual's decision. So I was just like, cool, man. Like, if you ever need to talk about it, I'll tell you my experience because I dropped out of college as well. That's why I think it's so cool that you did it because I was literally like, bro, did the same thing. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, and then he like randomly, we never even talked about it. It was a couple of months later, I think, where you were like, "Hey, man, I'm moving to Austin. Like, I dropped out," and I was just like,
Mhm.
craziest
Yeah.
thing. Like, you just take action, man. You freaking commit, and that's why you're able to grow so much, just so fast, and it's so incredible to see. So, and this is like the most fun part of the whole thing. So drops out of college, moves to an entirely different city all by himself, like just to really shake up his environment.
Mhm.
Um, what happened next with the business? What happens when you drop out of college? You were doing 10K per month. What happened after that when you were like full fledged, focused on the business?
Yeah, so not gonna lie, like the first few days when I got to Austin, I was like, holy crap, what did I do? Like crazy decision. And I was like, was I impulsive? And I was like, no, no, not at all. So it was like that kind of awkward phase, literally like just leaving that life behind, right? And committing to that. But like once I like settled in, like it was awesome. I had like no other distractions. I had like no other excuse to like say like, oh man, like if I wasn't in school, like I'd be doing better. It was like, no, it was up to me. So at that point, it was just like unleashing like the potential that I felt I had.
Yeah.
So it was crazy how many calls I was able to take, how many numbers I had, and just like how much energy I had to put into the business. And it was
Yeah.
so cool. And I ended up doing 34K that month. So
Yeah.
it's just insane.
That's
Insane.
insane. First month, like he's doing 10K per month, ranging there for 3 months. You were sitting there 3 months while you were in school, and
Yeah.
then dropped out. First month he drops out, he 3x's, almost 4x's revenue. Like that is freaking insane. And you're 24, right? Dude, that's incredible. Like seriously, like you deserve it. Like you're putting in the work and you're just making it happen. Um, and like the cool thing about this is like you had like a lot of time distractions, right? You were in school, you were in probably one of like the toughest environments really to be focused on business. You know, you had friends coming around, you probably just like trying to hang out, you had to do homework, you had to do school, and your shit. Were you in like a dorm or like a shared house?
Yeah, I was. I was like next to the bathroom, right?
That's insane. Yeah. So he's able to build it with like other people in his living area. So like there's no excuse that anyone can't do the exact same thing. Um, Man, that's incredible. And where do you want to go from here? What are kind of like the next steps? What do you see for yourself realistically in the next like the next year, I guess, because it's really been a year of effort of you being an entrepreneur. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I really want to hit 7 figures. Like I want to make this a 7 figure business, and like I will. Like to
Yeah.
see like the growth just like that quickly, I'm like, there's no reason I shouldn't hit 7 figures like with my company, right?
Good.
So my goal is 100 grand like by July. I have a really good feeling that I'm gonna hit it before that. Um, but eventually just grow it to 7 figures and then come up with a really cool exit strategy and sell it. You know, that just seems like a lot of fun,
It
to be
just
honest.
seems like the most logical thing to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
No, that's incredible. All right. So 100K per month in insights for you. Um, would you recommend the Agency Tycoons Accelerator to a stranger, whoever's watching this video, who's heard of this business model? Would you recommend this to them? And like, yeah, like what kind of advice would you give to someone that might be thinking about doing it?
Yeah. I, just think about where you're at, right? Like, are you the way I felt where I was like, I'm putting up with so much in my life. And it wasn't bad things either. It was like, I'm not where I want to be. I feel like I'm putting up with a lot, tolerating a lot. And it's because I chose that, right? I
Yeah.
chose to tolerate that. So just think about what you're tolerating. Are you happy? Are you content? Do you feel like you're reaching your potential? You're not growing the way you want to grow. And if you want to grow in a really cool way, they're just like, like under pressure, uh, exponentially, like I'd say join the course. If you
Yeah.
want to build like a really cool future and just become your best self. That's what it's helping me do, to be honest.
Dude, it's freaking awesome. Any like words of wisdom to someone like maybe just starting out, like not sure what their next step is? Like how are people supposed to know what the right next step is? Like how do you feel like you made that decision to where you're like, you know what, I should start a business? Like I'm like, how did you have that kind of like ability to take action? Because even like you said, like on the calls, like sometimes you have that paralysis type of thing, right?
Yeah.
You're like over analyzing. There's so much noise out there. There's so many different courses, like just a bunch of junk. Like, how do you feel like people should try and actually like go from over analysis to like action mode to make it happen?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I think, I think you could feel like when you're settling in life, right? Like um, whether it's like for me in college, I felt like I was settling. I was like, I'm meant for more. I don't know what the heck it is, but like this environment, I feel like I'm settling. Um, so I think if if you feel like you're settling, like just move around. Eventually, you'll find your spot. But you're not going to find where you're supposed to be if you're comfortably sitting where you feel like you're settling. That's what I would say, to be honest.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. And like I think that's like why people don't take action, because like they're too scared of that. It's like
Yep.
almost like they're more scared than they are like upset with the fact that they're settling. So it's just like if you're sick and tired of it, freaking take action on it. Like it's so simple nowadays to like at least like create some sort of income online for yourself, and not, you know, have a job that you don't like or any sort of lifestyle that you don't feel like you're fulfilled at. So, and hey, just a quick disclaimer, um, Mario, I'm not paying you. I didn't know you prior to us working together. Is that
Oh,
accurate? Okay, cool.
yeah, no, not at
Wanted to
all.
make sure. Awesome. And yeah, I mean, like, dude, I appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much for coming on here today with us and kind of like breaking down your journey. Is there any other like thing you think that we should talk about when it comes to like the process or what you went through up to this point?
Um, uh, Not really, not really. I don't think
Simple
so.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, you did an amazing job. So once again, thanks so much. And for anyone watching this, if you want to get free training, there's a link below. You can book a call with us to learn more about the Agency Tycoons Accelerator. Mario's in there. So once you get in, you can potentially have a conversation with Mario in real life.
Good.
So yeah, appreciate you all watching the video, and I'll see you in the program.